All right, let's do that pre-flight checklist. Again, don't forget to go to the Downloads tab and download the actual PDF of this so you can keep it on your phone when you're doing your flying, or keep it on your iPad or whatever you like. First off, make sure your flight conditions are suitable. Don't even think about flying if it's too windy or it's raining or the weather's bad. So before you do anything, make sure the flight conditions are suitable.
Right, and also not only make sure that you have your propellers on and that they're locked, because these are cool, they don't screw on, so they twist on and lock in place, but there's actually a method to putting them on. So for example, besides just turning them and locking them in place, there's a little white ring on the top of two of the propellers that matches the white ring around the motor. So you got to make sure the two white ones are on the white motors, and the ones that are don't have the white ring are on the other two motors. So that way, because you think they're all turning in the same direction, and they're not. So two are turning one way and two are turning the other way.
Now is the time to check your battery charge levels. So number one, you can do that without turning everything on. You can see where your batteries are at.
So just one tap of the button will tell you what the battery charge is on both the controller and the Mavic itself. So just press the button once and it'll tell me what the battery status is without turning it on.
And guess what? Your phone will do that too.
Yep.
All right, so once that you've checked your battery levels and you've assumed that they're okay, now you're going to, number one, launch the app. Number two, turn on the controller. And then lastly, number three, turn on the copter.
Then you're going to also verify that the app is actually connected to the copter, meaning that your controller will say connecting, and then it will beep and say, you know, that it's ready to go or that it's about to be ready to go.
All right, next, while you have your phone handy, set your phone to airplane mode so you don't get interrupted or get phone called during flight.
So the next thing is, of course, is to remove the lens cover or the camera cover. That's the gray or clear one, depending on how you left it. As well as don't forget the gimbal clamp. There are two different pieces. The gimbal clamp goes on first and comes off last. And then, of course, this goes on over the whole thing.
Also, make sure that your micro SD card is in the camera, and you might want to have an extra one ready, already formatted and ready to go. But don't fly off without having the micro SD card in the camera. Make sure it's there.
And I've never heard anyone say, you know what, I went on this vacation and I had an extra memory card and I hated having it.
Everybody, you'll say, man, I'm glad I have one.
Right.
And you don't want to have to be in some wild exotic location trying to find a micro SD card. So,
or worse, deleting something to make room for the new thing you really want to take. So
that hurts.
It never hurts to have an extra card. Or two or three. Next thing is, of course, to place the Mavic on a flat, unobstructed surface. So if you don't have one, you can buy one, or I usually travel with one. That way I can pop it open, put it down, and even stake it down if it's windy, which shouldn't be too windy. And then put the Mavic on it, and that way I have something to take off from and something to land onto.
Also, make sure that the area is clear. Don't fly, and if you have a chance of running into power lines or cables or trees or anything else, make sure that you're not just on a flat, unobstructed surface, but that when you take off, the area is clear.
Yeah.
So big open fields and things like that are awesome places, especially if you're just starting.
Right, and even though you might look at those lines and say, oh, no problem, I'm good, I can fly over them and around them, but can it when it's auto landing? It can't see power lines, even with the obstacle avoidance. So it might fly right into them coming back.
All right, be careful about that. And then, of course, once you've done all these things, look for the ready to go message that appears on your controller, and then you can take off. Now, you can take off one of two ways. You can do the auto takeoff.
Yep.
You can just press the little auto button, and it will take off for you and hover up to about 5 to 6 feet and just kind of hang there. Or you can take off manually, and you use the controllers.
Yep.
Pull them back towards you, not straight back towards you, but almost, you're going to make a letter V. So straight back would be like this. You're going to actually make a V, and that will start the propellers.
That'll spin them up, yes.
Then you're going to pull the
left lever forward to give it more juice so that it flies, or so that it takes off.
Right, so that is your basic checklist. Of course, you can probably add as many things in there as you care, but I think those are the essential things that you need to have before you go. And of course, the first one is the most important. Don't even fly if you're in the wrong conditions to be flying. You don't want to damage your drone, and you don't want to hurt anybody else or yourself. All right, we're going to wrap things up in this class, the last segment, which is what do you do when you're done? You're done flying for the day. It's been a successful day. You've got stills, you've got video and all. How do you wrap things up? That's what we're going to wrap up this class with.